So this is the beginning status of the stairs with this 30-year-old carpet that I was too excited to get torn up and thrown into the trash bin. But before I could actually get started with redoing the stairs, there was a little squeak that I had to contend to. I just finished getting the squeak in this floor gone. Now the squeak here was bad and I couldn't figure out how to fix it first off offset because it wasn't like with all the other squeaks where it's like you can kind of figure out where the squeak is coming from because everything's visible. And so what I was thinking when I opened this up, I was like, okay, so maybe the squeak is right underneath the floor. So what I did was I stood on this part and made sure that that's where the squeak was coming from. And so it was squeaking right in this area, which makes sense because if you live here, you're gonna have to hit this spot every single day, multiple times a day. So of course the spot was weak, and then I was like, well, maybe I can just laminate this piece of wood to the subfloor. That way they're tight enough to where it's not squeaking. So that's what I did, and the squeak is gone. So I'm happy about that. And all I had to do was go get some 3.5-inch screws like these. It's the exact same screw that I'm using in the subfloor to get rid of all the squeaks or to prepare the floor and the rest of the space anyway. So I just had to get a longer screw. But I'm happy with that result. Now I get to get ready to paint this place. Woohoo! So not only did I go ahead and paint this stairwell the same color of the rest of the house, I went ahead and added some extra lights in this stairway. It only had one light at the top of the floor, but I knew that wasn't enough, so I went ahead and added one more. It was actually my first time using a ladder, and this was kind of terrifying, so I don't think I'll ever be doing it again, but it was cool for a one-time thing. The way that I did the risers was I took some plywood that was about 1/4 inch thick and I cut it into the width and the height of the risers. That way it would just be something easier for me to paint separately instead of painting the actual risers. And the paint color that I chose is actually called Dark Secret, and is the paint color that I've used throughout the rest of the house whenever I'm doing anything that's kind of like a navy neutral color. This is the color that I went with. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our finished stairs. So I went ahead and I put in the riser covers, and look at that comparison, or I should say juxtaposition, between those really bright treads with that really dark secret, to be exact, color on the risers. And of course I have to go through and trim off a little bit of that underlayment and all that kind of stuff, but I could not be happier with this look. So what I'm doing now is I'm adding this trim to cover up those ugly gaps that I had from cutting the skirting board. And the idea kind of like popped into my head randomly. I saw like in order to cut the skirting board, you have to cut out like little triangle pieces, and I was like, what if I just cut the bottoms off the triangles and use those? And so I was going to use that material just for like random art projects, but I was like, this is more important and I actually need to do this. So I am finding use in all those little scrap pieces, and all I'm doing is just taking it to the table saw. I have my table saw set to 1 inch. So these are all 1 inch tall, and it's the same thickness as this board here. And I'm just cutting those off so that it comes up to here. And I think I'm gonna do the same thing for back here. Maybe. I haven't really decided yet. Yeah, maybe something a little bit shorter to go in there, and I'll fill in all the gaps with caulk or something like that, and wood filler. So what I'm gonna do is, then I'm gonna do this edge with another 45-degree angle cut. For example, like this, sorta, kinda. Well, it's not a good example. Kind of like that. But it'll be, this is like a curved cut that I did with the jigsaw, so it's not going to be flat. But I'm going to essentially do that in 1.5 inch lengths, because that's the length of the stair tread, and it's essentially going to look like that. And then I'm going to glue these all on here. It's actually going way faster than I expected, so I'm pretty happy about that, because I needed some good news. So yeah, I'm gonna get it into cutting those, and I'm gonna glue these on, and then figure out whether I want to do the insides as well, and then I'll paint this one day. One day this will be a done project. So right now these are the treads that I've finished drying, and I am going through and filling out the cracks where they meet, if there are any cracks. Some of them are pretty tight, and I'm going through and filling them with some wood putty, and after that they'll be pretty much done, and I'll have to sand them a little bit. I'll give them a light sanding, and then it'll be time for paint. I didn't think I was going to finish this early, so I'm probably going to go ahead and run out to get the rest of the material that I need to finish the top parts of the stairs, because I did end up finishing the bottom cap for the upstairs sets of stairs. And so yeah, I'm gonna finish this. I can't talk too long because this stuff, I have the canister open and it dries, so I'm gonna get that done. And then I am so excited because I will be almost done with these stairs. It's taking so long. There's another wheel spotting. This time we'll keep our distance. This is the skirting board painted, which means, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are at the end of this long journey. I'm so excited. I didn't paint it inside the house, of course. I did it outside, and I just brought it in here to dry, while the other ones I left on the sawhorses outside because it's not enough space in here. But I'm excited because I'm almost finished. I used a 4-inch roller with a 1/2 inch snap, if that helps, to get into these cracks, because I was struggling to get it done. But by using that roller that was much smaller, I was able to move a lot faster and really hit all those angles. And I am excited. I keep having to tell myself whenever I'm being critical of how it looks, is that it's not in context. Like outside, of course, it's gonna look different. The lighting from outside is gonna show different things, and also you're gonna see stuff like edges that aren't perfect that you don't see. I knew I was gonna have edges that weren't perfect, but they go underneath the tread, so it's like it doesn't really matter. So I have to keep that in mind. But I'm just so happy to be almost done, and it looks really good, especially on camera. It photographs really well. So I think I'm gonna go pick up some stuff that I'll need for next week to do some projects, and then these will be totally dry and I can probably go ahead and install them. So that's exciting.